Okay, here's the homework that is due on Wednesday, November 18th. We did the other side of the worksheet. This is the flip side, which I told you will be due on Wednesday. I'm going to go over 3 of these problems where you can have a chance, if you were not in class or for whatever reason you don't have the worksheet, you can copy these down. So I'm going to pause it so you can do that. Also, in this case, you do not need a calculator. All of these answers are going to come out to be rational numbers, so fractions. So we're not going to have any of those exponents that were irrational numbers that went on and on and on. So again, I want to come over now and go over a couple of these problems. All right, let's deal with number 1. If you were in class, you realize that we can evaluate a log, and logs always produce exponents. So if we look at the top here, we have 2 log base 27 of 3. Think about the fact that it's 2 times log base 27 of 3. So we can look at this log base 27 of 3 all by itself. What this is saying is 27 to the what value gives us 3. That's all that this means. So we can rewrite and say, okay, 27 to the x equals 3. In this case, that x has to be something that would, when I raise the power, when I raise 27 to this power, it gives me 3. Well, if you were in class, hopefully you were, we talked about exponents that are fractions, and this one would actually be 27 to the 1/3, because that's the third root of 27, is equal to 3. So when we evaluate just the part that's log base 27 of 3, that actually gives us 1/3, because that's the fraction that it produces. So our top here, we're going to have, don't forget that 2, because that 2 is being multiplied by log base 27 of 3, which we just found to be 1/3. So it's 2 times 1/3. Erase that right there a little bit better. So it's 2 times 1 over 3, 1/3. Now the bottom is the same concept. We have 9 times the log base 64 of 4. Well, you can disregard, not really disregard the 9, but just remember the 9 is being multiplied by whatever you have. And there are other ways to do this, but I'm going to disregard the 9 for now. I'm going to deal with log base 64 of 4. And that's really all this is 64 to the what power gives me 4. Well, hopefully you recognize that the third root, or the cubic root of 64, is 4. So this entire thing is just 1/3, because 64 to the 1/3 is equal to 4. So our answer for this log is 1/3. So on the bottom we're going to have 9 times 1/3. And I'm going to erase this other stuff now. And put back that 3. So we have 2/3 divided by 9/3. I'm going to rewrite that. Remember, that's just division. So I'm going to rewrite that as 2/3 divided by 9 over 3. Now remember, you have to flip and multiply. So this is 2/3 times 3 over 9. And we can cross cancel. So that's going to be 1 and 1. It's going to be 2 over 9. If you did not cross cancel, you would get 6 over 27, and you would reduce, divide both by 3, and you'd still get 2 over 9. So that is our answer, 2/9 for number 1. All right, let's look at number 3 now. In this case, we are going to be adding. So the first part, we don't have any coefficient, but we have a power. Remember our power to power rule? This might be helpful if we bring this 3 down here, and we make that 3 log base 1/36 of 6, and plus log base 2 of 128. There is no coefficient. So in this case, I'm just going to deal with this part in blue, and that's going to be, remember, you're thinking about 136 to the what gives me 6. So I'm looking at this, 136 to the x equals 6. Well, what does that have to be? Well, If it were 1/2, if we put 1/2, that would mean that that answer would be 1/6. So if we thought that this was 1/2, really 1/2 is the square root, and the square root of 136 is 1/6. So we don't want that. So I'm going to get rid of that because we want something that'll give us 6. And in this case, if we take negative 1/2, if you remember, when you have a negative exponent, you take the reciprocal of your number and make that exponent positive. So this is the same as 36 to the positive 1/2. Now 36 to the positive 1/2, that's the same as the square root of 36. So that is equal to 6. So actually our answer is negative 1/2. When I evaluate log, this one I'm about to circle here, when I evaluate this, all right, head step away. Let's look here now. Forgot where I was. Okay, we simplify log base 1/36 of 6. That entire thing gives us negative 1/2. And we also have the 3 there in the front, so that's 3 times negative 1/2. And then plus log base 2 of 128. And the log base 2 of 128, think to yourself, 2 to the what? 2 to the x equals 128. Well, the only value that can be is 7. So when you evaluate log base 2 of 128, you get 7. So we have 3 times negative 1/2 plus 7. So we end up with negative 3/2 plus 7. And we need a common denominator. Don't forget about that. 14 we can change to 14. 7 we can change to 14/2. And that's going to equal 11/2. So evaluated all the way, that is our answer, 11/2. And that's going to be the last one I go over. Don't have time to go over anymore.